And I was just so blown away because he was literally the most attractive person I've been with. And she was super excited to sleep with me. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I, I'm like skinny as fuck. Whatever insecurities I have about myself, like, why the fuck would you be with me right now? But she was so excited to see me. I was like, this is wild. I'm like, what the fuck? If I for one dude from good looking dudes that could do it, I could do it. Even the guy I looked up to, he was just a short Asian dude. He still could do it. There's no excuses.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the fabulous Jack, one of my coaching clients who did some absolutely amazing things in his coaching time or his time in the coaching with myself, Cam, and the other guys. Some of the crazy stuff that you did, Jack. You moved across the country to Los Angeles to start a fresh chapter of your life. You had sex with 4 women. You quit pornography. You stopped seeking your parents' validation for the first time in your life. You made some awesome friends and connections in the LA warehouse scene. You lost 14 pounds. You developed a better schedule and boosted your productivity and a whole lot more. Done a lot of stuff. How do you feel looking back on it all?
It's been a trip. Yeah, that's literally like I was at a real low point because I was living on my parents for almost 6 months now, literally as a complete loser. So it's been a trip the past couple months. I'm really grateful to everyone in the group. As you said, like about everything exponentiating, I just noticed it day by day. It just gets easier to do more now.
Yeah, the more you throw yourself into the self-improvement game, you start making results faster and faster. The amount of progress that you can make in a day or a week, 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say, holy shit, what I do now in a week used to take me like 6 months worth of progress. So it really does become exponential. It really does. Why did you want to join the program? What specific challenge were you experiencing before you signed up?
I had very little experience with women. I basically lost my virginity at 24. Thanks to you for creating that guide to just give me as brain dead simple way. But the problem was for me is like I just had no experience with women. I've been reading about pickup for years. I started reading pickup around 2017 or something, sophomore year of college. I found this guy called Tom Likas.
I know Tom Likas, yep.
I don't know, YouTube just recommended me to him and I just kept hearing about it and I got more interested in just understanding male and female dynamics. But then that started spiraling into the red pill. It just puts you in such a hateful state. I finally eventually found Good Looking Loser maybe a year later through someone through the red pill Reddit where they were just talking about this guy called Chris Otis. Going there and it's giving me just straight to the point, this is how you do it, showing that whatever circumstance that you come in, you can do it if you're willing to put in the work. It helped change my mindset, but I was still hesitant to actually put in the work. So I just kept having to read stories like yours, Cam's, and other people, guys shorter than me, with way more disadvantages than me. A couple years down the line, I'm at a low point in my life again, and I was like, why not? If they could do it, I can do it. I'm like, what the fuck? If I for one dude from good looking dudes that could do it, I could do it. Even the guy I looked up to, he was just a short Asian dude. He still could do it. There's no excuses.
I think that's part of the power of seeing other people's stories, especially if we find or if we see people that we can relate to. Maybe that's the same race. Maybe that's the same height. You know, people will look at you and say, oh shit, he's Asian. He's getting laid. And we're going to talk about that in a second. You know, he's moved across the country. He's finally gained some independence from his parents, all of that. If he can do that, maybe I can too. I think it's about seeing people that are very similar to us and saying, all right, I'm going to copy what they've done. And I'm going to do the same thing because we love to tell stories of how we're special. And I guess I can ask you the question. Everything you've just achieved, are you special?
No.
Not at all. I'm not special either. Just a couple of dudes that took a little bit of action every single day and didn't quit. And you were the king of just taking a little bit of action and not quitting. Let's talk about that because probably the best example of that is you moving. You moved across the country to LA. You had wanted to move for like 10 years and live that lifestyle. And when you first talked to me about signing up, you said it's probably going to take me 1 to 3 years to move to LA. And we pushed you to do it in like 2 months. So that was just for you a series of little steps. It was like, let me write down everything that I need to do in order to move. And let me just start doing those things. How did it feel to make that fantasy come true? And how were you able to pull the trigger on that so quickly rather than taking 3 years?
Doing the whole moving process, I will say it just feels like a trip because everything just happens so fucking quick. To be honest to God with you, I still barely process a lot of it. It's just like I asked you for help, and then the advice you gave me, and I just did the work. I was like, it just kept snowballing. And so it was just a trip. It really was a trip. I still am processing some of the stuff in regards of pulling the trigger. Basically, I'd always wanted to do this, but like, it's like I'm just half-assing it. I'm spending years half-assing it, and at this point, I've spent years repeating this shit. And then I'm at a point where like I have no job. Yeah, when I signed up to you, I had no home. I literally got kicked out.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
I didn't own anything. I didn't have much commitments. Just a few friends I grew up with, and so I was like, why not? Like I literally have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, man. What you just said, I really want to highlight. A lot of people say, I don't have very much, so therefore I can't do the things that scare me. But you can turn it around and say, I don't have very much, therefore what the fuck have I got to lose? It doesn't get any less than this. I don't get any worse than this. I may as well pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So you moved across the country, moved to LA, you got stranded halfway through. That was a little adventure. Your car breakdown in Texas, in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere at like the top of the state. But you made it. You moved to LA. Tell us about the moment that you had. I think you had dated or had sex with a few women, and you had this moment that was a very like emotional, happy moment where you felt like, oh crap, this was the right decision. What was that moment?
I was swiping through Hinge using the same profile I've always been using. I wasn't expecting any insane results, and I matched with this. It was okay girl. I wouldn't say she was that attractive even on the Hinge profile, but like I just wanted to meet people. We set up a date after a couple of days of just trying to decide a schedule. When we meet, I was shocked. She looked way better in person. She had lost a lot of weight beforehand.
Reverse catfish.
Yes, reverse catfish. So she had lost a lot of weight, and she didn't have any good pictures of herself. So when I met, I was like just so blown away that I'm on a date with this girl, and then we're on the pretext that I'm trying to sleep with her, and she's completely fine with it. And so I continued on this date, and then I invited her back, and then we having sex. And I was just so blown away because she was attractive. She was literally, I would say, the most attractive person I've been with. And she was super excited to sleep with me. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like skinny as fuck. Whatever insecurities I have about myself, like, why the fuck would you be with me right now? But she was so excited to see me. I was like, this is wild. I literally haven't done anything. The only major thing is that I put more effort in just swiping and then changing my location, which is, I guess, the biggest part. But I was just so blown away. It's like, you want to have sex with me? Like literally. After that, we cuddled and then she left to go back home. In the morning, I woke up. I just had a realization what the fuck just happened the previous night. And I was just in euphoria. I was tearing up. I was like, holy crap. All the stuff I've been reading about, this shit is real. This shit is actually real. And I was like, yes. That's all I could say. The work was worth it.
Yeah, man. In that moment, is all the struggle and the insecurity and the pain, is it worth it?
Yes, absolutely. Because you don't even think about it. You're just so happy this even happened. And the fact that this actually does work.
Yeah, it works when you do the work. And I want to underline something. You said, I had that thought in my head of like, why would she sleep with me? Like, why are you sleeping with me? Because you're the only one that had the balls to ask. Like, because you just asked a lot of women and some of them will say yes. Some of them will say, yeah, I like you. Cool, let's have sex. And you go, wait, it shouldn't be this easy. Why do you like me? Why are you having sex with me? Because you put in the work and you asked a lot of women. That's it. It's really just asking for what we want. And some of the people will say, yes, I'd love to share that with you. And you go, cool, let's do that. But we tell stories of how we don't deserve something, or we shouldn't be with attractive women, or we don't deserve women to be nice to us. And it's like, no, you just have to talk to a lot of women and some of them will be nice to you. A lot of people will disqualify themselves, right? They'll say this person's too cool for me, they're too hot for me, they're too good for me. Don't disqualify yourself when you haven't even asked them. Don't say it. Don't put a no in their mouth. Let them say fucking no. Because half the time you're going to get a yes, and it's going to blow your damn mind.
Absolutely.
You also, in your time, you met a few other women. I believe you had sex with 4 women in your time in the coaching group?
Yes.
Were the rest of them online dating? Was the process just the same?
Online dating, yes. The first one was not actually. Basically, it's a girl that hit me up first about smoking weed. And then I just turned the conversation more sexual. She introduced me to drugs, weed for my first time. So I smoked my first blunt.
Bad influence on you.
Yes.
In that thread of being a bad boy who tries drugs for the first time, I don't think that, by the way, but another thing that you did in your time in the program was you stopped seeking your parents' validation. Your parents seem lovely from everything you've talked to me, but they are the typical Asian parents, right? Like they have a view of what they want for you, they want the best for you, and it's sort of like their way, and they're going to push that on you. What was that process of gaining independence from them? Or basically saying, hey, listen, mum and dad, I'm an adult now, I'm going to do my own thing. What was that process? How did that look?
Well, first, the only way it happened was going to that consultation call with you, essentially just therapy.
We did talk about your parents a lot in that first call, yeah. We talked for like 45 minutes about your parents.
To be honest, that's the only way this even fucking started was like that consultation call became a therapy call. And that's where I started the process of I need to stop getting validation from my parents. I had to accept I'm doing my own thing and I need to stop seeking approval from them. I think it was going to that first call with you. I told you what I wanted. And you said, just do this. And I'm like, okay, do the work. And then when you consider all the possibilities and even for like a guy like me who's very focused on analytical stuff, you just start doing the work, you realize like this shit is a lot more possible. Then you start gaining facts and you can build up a case for yourself if you need to. Even if you don't have the confidence, you have the data to show that I can do this. It's not that big of a deal. If you just do the work that Andy says.
Yeah, man. A lot of this stuff is a lot less complicated than we think, but we're just not throwing ourselves in there and doing the work. And I love what you said about evidence. I had to do the same thing. I've always had to do the same thing. I'm someone that's over analytical. I have such a tendency to procrastinate. I have so many insecurities and doubts and fears. I'm just not a very confident human being. And so I have to gather evidence that I can do things. The way that I do that is I just give myself permission to suck. I take a few baby steps. I start to see a little bit of progress and then I go, okay, maybe I can do this. And then I slowly build up that like data bank of evidence. You're building up a database of evidence of like, look, I can take action and the world will, or the universe will reward me for that. Start really small, build up slowly. And you're the king of that. Like we said, you wrote this massive list of all the things that you wanted to do in terms of moving. And then you just slowly went through and like did each one of them in order. And each time it's like I'm giving myself evidence that I can actually have an impact on the world, that I can actually have an impact on my own life, and that I can get the things that I want and be the person that I want to be.
It's just like being more honest with yourself. When you start being more honest with yourself, when you actually try to take control of your life, you realize you just gotta be honest with yourself if you want to make that next step. Even now, it's like, I'm not telling my parents that I'm fucking girls in Los Angeles, but as long as you can be more honest with yourself and then start taking action, realizing what needs to be done and then start doing it and you see the evidence build up. You don't have to be perfect. Slowly build the confidence to start making that leap of faith.
Yeah, it gets easier. You get more competent at it. And in terms of, there being things that maybe you haven't told your parents, you tell them in your own time. I went through the same process. Like I didn't immediately tell my parents about my website and everything. I just told them I was doing a self-improvement website. That was all I sort of did. And then over time, slowly, I opened up to them more and more. I have an article called Honesty is an Ideal That You Work Towards. And I say it's basically, it's okay if you're not 100% perfectly honest with everyone all the time, as long as you're working on it. It's kind of a skill that you improve. You need to gain a little bit of confidence and practice with it. It gets easier the more you do it. It gets easier the older you get if you're working on it. And it definitely gets easier the more you achieve goals because you become a lot more proud of who you are. You can hold your chin up and then you're quite happy with the things that you've done. It's very easy to explain that to other people.
When your parents realize you are making the move, they'll very quickly yield, but what they'll do is that they will question you and see how prepared you are. But when you have the evidence, it's like you feel very sure of yourself. Do a consultation call. I don't know, for a lot of you guys, it will be therapy, I swear to God. And then after that, just be honest with yourself with what the hell you want. And then just follow the advice that you're paying the coaching for.
One step at a time, yeah, for sure. I think that's the benefit of paying someone else. You can just kind of trust what they're saying and throw yourself in there. Back on the Asian parents thing. Yeah, I think most parents want the best for their kid. And maybe they have a very strong idea of what that has to be. But at the end of the day, they care about you and they just want you to be happy. And make money, and they only want you to make money so that you'll be happy. And if you can just come to them and say, okay, here's my plan, here's what I want to do. I've like mapped it all out. I can't guarantee it'll work, but look, I've actually done the research. That can help them feel a lot more comfortable because they go, okay, look, our son's not a complete dumbass. He's at least researched what he's going to do. He at least has a plan. It's not our plan. We disagree with it, but at least he's not a dumbass. Like, I definitely wouldn't, if you have Asian parents, I definitely wouldn't just go up to your parents and be like, hey, so I'm going to go and be an artist. And they're like, okay, but like which university? I don't fucking know. Okay, but like, have you researched anything? No, I don't fucking know. I just know that I want to be an artist. It's like, put a little bit more effort into planning before you tell your parents. It's probably the best advice I can give.
I think the best advice is just go to consultation first.
With me? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then you'll start.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah. Come on a call and I'll make you fucking have independence from your parents.
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
Something else that you worked with or that you achieved in your time in the group, you went a full month without pornography for the first time in 15 years. How did you achieve that, and how did that help your overall well-being?
So it's a mixture of like chasing my goals, like going through coaching and then chasing my goals, then following someone in the coaching group's advice on how to use tools and specific strategies to quit pornography. Just helped me quit pornography altogether.
I love what you said about admitting that you have an addiction. A lot of people will hear that and go, yeah, I admit I have a porn addiction, but that doesn't just immediately fix the problem. It's like, no. Properly admit that you have it. What that means is surrender to it. Like, really just take a deep breath, let all the tension out in your body and go, okay, I have a fucking addiction. What am I going to do to fix this? What do I need to change? Maybe I need to install some blockers on my phone. Maybe I need to give internet access control to someone else and they can block parts of my phone. Maybe I need to never use the internet when I'm alone in my room. Maybe I need to sit down and just figure out what kind of man or human being I want to be and whether or not I want porn to be a part of that. Maybe I need accountability to tell a bunch of strangers or something, or to tell a bunch of friends about this. Maybe I need to go to some support groups. Maybe I need to read books. Like really, really, really admitting it, not just on a surface level saying, yeah, I have a porn addiction. It's like, no. Okay, I actually have a problem with this. I need some help. I'm going to fix this. It's the very first step of the 12-step program with alcoholics. You have to admit that you have a problem and then surrender to it like a higher power, which is just other people, and admit that you want to fix this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you lose 14 pounds during the coaching, and how has that helped your confidence?
For the first couple of weeks, I was kind of starving myself a little bit.
Okay, so not necessarily recommended. That said, that's exactly how I lost weight too, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
I just moved, and like I already knew I'm trying to get laid. I knew that I had to start losing body fat because when I left, I was really pudgy at the time. Set kitchen or like groceries to find, or like it's just easy to get. So I was starving myself for a couple of weeks. Realized I couldn't keep doing this. One of your coaching clients reached out to me. It was the first time like I've been able to lose weight sustainably, and it's just been a breeze. It's just been a straight breeze.
It's the benefit of having somebody else as your like coach or your accountability partner. If some guy in the group who absolutely has an elite body tells you, hey, do this and this and this, you're going to go, all right, I'm going to listen to you because look at your body.
The point for that person to get into this group is like they realize Andy was a great coach. And then after that, they just stayed because how valuable it was. And then if you join, you have access to not only Andy, but that person. And then it just keeps spiraling.
Yeah, we've built a very diverse team of experts, I guess you could say. People in business, people in fitness, people in women dating, all of that kind of stuff. People in mental health, content creation. It's a good group of dudes. Everybody in there is pretty damn motivated.
Yeah, this group is incredible.
You mentioned becoming friends with a famous celebrity's old publicist, and I know which celebrity it is. We're going to keep it anonymous, and it's a pretty fucking big celebrity, like an A-lister. What impact has that had on your confidence and your life, meeting someone who's that high up in the LA scene?
It's a trip, because I basically followed your guide on how to make friends. That simple-ass guide, and this guy dropped in, and I was like, because he was one of the few people that reached out after the very aggressive screening that the guy does. But after talking with him, having a realization, hey, this guy wants to be friends with me, actively wants to get to know me. Wow, all the people that come to LA every year, all the people that spend their years trying to get into this scene, and I have people immediately just, want to get to know me more. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, what the actual fuck? It feels like to be a hot chick. Hot chicks in LA have like the most access and whatnot. It's on another level of like what you can get. And like right now, it's like, I feel like a hot chick. It's like straight up.
Because of this, is that all just come from this one person that you've met, this one publicist?
Oh no, it's like, no, it's not just from him, but it's like, even through dates, it's like, I have been meeting up with like pretty top people in the entertainment industry by sheer chance.
Yeah, because of the environment you're in. Yeah, this is the power of moving to a different environment.
Yeah, I'm trying to schedule a Beverly Hills party because like one of the girls I want to try to hook up with, we didn't hook up, but we're still talking. And so I'm asking her if I could join her. But we'll see how that goes out. But like people try all this effort to do this, and I'm like, dude, I'm just some random ass Asian dude. And these opportunities are just coming. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because you actually tried. Your story reminds me so much of parts of my own story. Like, for so long, I really didn't feel like I deserved to have a decent sex life. I didn't think I deserved to be having threesomes in BDSM. Exactly what you just said. That thought has run through my head so many times. I'm just some random fucking guy. Like, why? Especially when I had the foursome with 3 women, I was just in the middle of it going like, I'm just some fucking random dude. Like, why am I here? Like this, I shouldn't be part of this. I should be watching this on my computer screen, jerking my little dick and like wishing I could be there. I shouldn't actually be there. I've thought the same thing in the middle of like coaching and stuff. When somebody says, hey, I'll give you $50,000 for your one-on-one coaching, my brain just goes like, this isn't me. Like, does he know that it's me? He's giving the money to me though? Like maybe he actually meant to give it to like somebody cool, but he accidentally gave it to me. So I really understand that idea. And it really is just a concept of just fucking trying. Like, that's all you ever did. You just tried. You're like, what if I try and go to LA? What if I try and meet cool people? What if I try and have parties? What if I try and hit on hot chicks? And it's like, sometimes it works. And you're sitting there going like you said, this is a trip. Why has this worked? Because you tried. That's it.
Yeah.
What are the next steps then? How do you plan on continuing to push yourself now that you finished coaching? Like, what are your next steps and goals, and what do you want essentially?
So my next steps is to continue on building myself up so that I can be successful in pickup, going out to approach girls in the day, at night, at the club, at parties, etc., etc. I'm literally starting from the ground up. I was pudgy when I came here. I'm below average height. And so my goal is just to get myself to a decent level. I'm not that attractive. I'm really not attractive. So for me to even get this far, I'm like so fucking blown away. Because I'm really starting out from fresh up. I'm scrawny as hell. But it just shows like you just need to keep trying.
Yeah. Don't put off the thing you want because you think there's some steps that you have to do first. It's like while you're doing those steps, as in going to the gym or improving yourself, you can be working on the goal at the same time. You can go and say hello to women. Like, you don't have to be this perfect giga chad, massive dick, tall, perfect human being. Like, no, just go and start talking to some women. You said it best before. Women are just people, and like people have different preferences, and some people will just like you for you as you're improving yourself.
Totally.
What's on the horizon after that in terms of like big, massive life goals?
The bigger goal would be this whole pickup party phase. I was just basically working, studying, following what my parents wanted to. So I'm trying to basically party hard, become a big player in the Hollywood scene and get my party phase over with because there's other stuff I want to do.
I think it's going to be a very big self-improvement project for you as well. Part of the way that you will build yourself up into a man that women want, part of the way that you'll make a lot of friends, part of the way that you'll make waves in that scene is self-improvement. You know, looking better, dressing better, fixing your or improving your confidence, all of that stuff. So it's a wonderful project. I think at the core of it, it's a self-improvement project.
And so for the very long horizon, I've always wanted to be in the arts. I really just wanted to do music. Growing up, there weren't many Asian role models in music, or at least on American or Western media. And so I always wanted to see, I guess, people that look like me more. And after now seeing the past couple of years and people are starting to make waves, and I realized like, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. So my long-term horizon is to be a top charting artist.
And you're going to get there. You're the king of, like I said, breaking big things down into little tasks and then just taking action. You really are the king of just shutting up and taking action. And becoming a massive artist will just be the same thing. Write down all the steps that I need to take to get there and then just start. Can you summarize your experience in the coaching program in one sentence?
I finally have the guidance that I've always been looking for. So I've always been an action taker, but I didn't necessarily come from a good area. And so I've always tried to find ways to improve my situation. And thankfully, I have parents that are supportive enough to help push me through higher education. I've never been in a place where like I had guidance. Finally, just have guidance that I've been looking for is like, finally, man.
I love that. If someone's on the fence about signing up for coaching, what would you say to them?
Do it. After going through it, I would say just sign up pronto. Just shut up, just sign up right now.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. Anyone that's thinking about it, jump in. Any final shout-outs?
Shout out to the entire group, to you, other people on the group. They've been super supportive. We still talk. You still talk with a lot of people that you met through the coaching. It's not like a one and done thing. You still talk. This shit is paying dividends.
Oh, yeah, you'll be friends with those people for the rest of your life, I suspect.
So, basically everyone there. Well, I would say get up ASAP because right now is a golden opportunity right now.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you coming on. It was an absolute inspiration to work with you, especially when you moved to LA, when you first got there and you posted those first couple of posts in the group saying, I made it, holy shit. And then when you had that very happy, emotional day where you said, oh my God, I finally realized this was worth it. This was absolutely the right move. It was really inspiring to be able to share that journey with you. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. If anyone wants to sign up for coaching, link in the description below. You'll click that, fill out an inquiry form. You can jump on a call with me, talk you through the process. We have payment plans available. We would love to have you. Jack, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
It's been fun.
It's been fun.
Go crush your goals, people.